What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Summer Gravity, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, as I've been spending more time on land, I've been spending more time in this land.spl-stats.com tool, and I'm really enjoying, I'm appreciating what they've put together here. If you go to the website, you will see at the bottom there is a section here for land planning, which is something similar to what shout out to Peak Monsters, something similar to what was built on Peak Monsters, but this seems to pull in data from the marketplace as well as just helps you. It's just a little bit more in depth, and I'm going to get into that in a second. So we'll just call it for like a little bit of a simulation here for an example. I wanted to pull in a bunch of data and just kind of show you where the rough numbers for land would be. And again, you can play with this in a million different ways. So keep in mind that this is not this is not exhaustive by any means. But let's say, for example, I wanted to get started with land, and to make things easy, I want to go for grain, right? Because grain, at the end of the day, you can sell it, you need it, and you don't need to get grain in order to participate in land. So let's say I was going through and I wanted to get a plains. I'm not going to bother with a totem. I'm not going to bother with a title. Now, we do have to add a power core. I don't know why it says. Okay, well, I guess that's Rooney, but let's just go with power core here. And then we're going to go with a grain farm, right? Now, and that's the beautiful thing, right? You can go through and see what you're available to build. Research Hut, Aura Lab, Shard Mine, and then, of course, for the other land types, you can build some other things. So I kept this simple. I know that this is not the most efficient way and most effective way, and if you have a more efficient rarity that I should be keeping an eye out for as I start to collect more cards, please do let me know. But all I'm doing here is just looking at the Chaos Legion, kind of like reward card set or core set, because there's so many cards out there. I'm just looking at commons. I'm just looking at regular foil. I am going for the 10% boost, so I did choose life here, and then obviously maxing it out at 400 BCX. Now, like I said, this is probably not the most efficient way to do this, but what's cool is that you can see the base production, the boosted production, right? How much you produce, how much you consume, and then the net DEC that you earn per hour. Now, what's even better is that you can go up here and you can see the total USD price to get started on something like this. Although, I will say that for some reason, maybe I'm wrong here, but it's a staked DEC needed is 250,000. That seems like 5x too much, like 5 times too many, because it's supposed to be 10,000 DEC for each card that you put, each max card that you put on. So I believe it should only be 50,000 DEC. So what I'm going to do, just to make things easier, and if I'm wrong here, somebody let me know, but I haven't seen this to be the case. I'm going to remove 200,000 DEC, right? So right now it's saying, total price is $194. Again, we're not going to look at dollars just because that's going to get thrown off, but the USD deed price, right? So if you want to go and buy the cheapest land, planes out there, the cheapest life card available, life common cards, Sunk Eye Harvester, right? Shows you the DEC, the US dollar amount. But like I said, we're going to go through down here and look at the stake DEC needed, even though that's incorrect. That should be 50K. And then DEC for purchases. So that's going to be 36,067. Now, I don't know if this includes a power core. I'm assuming it does. But let me just double check something here. So let's go 1.6 plus or times 5 plus 16.9 times, what is it, 0.0069 right now. DEC is pretty low. No, sorry, 24.9. Something like that. Okay, you know what? They're not putting in the 5,000 DEC for the power core. At least that's what I'm calculating out here, roughly. So we'll just add it in to be safe. What I'm trying to show here, again, I'm just trying to show the tool and all the different capabilities, even though there's some areas to kind of like improve on it, in my opinion. But shout out to Beaker and Azrakon for putting this together. So again, if we just want to get the quick ROI on this, so we're going to take 80, what is this? Because we're going to remove 200,000 DEC, right? So it's 86, we'll say 86,670. Plus another 5,000 DEC for the power core, right? So 91,670 DEC in total. And then, as you saw here, if we go back to this page, you're making 0.581 DEC per hour. So let's go 0.581 times 24. I'm going to divide that by the amount. Sorry, I know I'm doing this off screen, but it's just easier here. Divide this by 91,670 times 365, and you get a rough APR of 5.5%. Now, again, this is not to say 5.5% is good or bad or whatever the case is. It's just a nice, easy way to go in and start calculating things. They have so much that's pulled in here, and if you want to get started on it, however you want to participate with land and all that, right? Like this to me is a really phenomenal tool, and I've been using it quite a bit to figure out how to get my land plot started. Obviously, I already have a decent amount of plots, many of which that are still not, have not been turned on yet. So as I go through this process of acquiring more DEC and then looking at what cards to get, I just wanted to call out this tool here because I think it's a fantastic way to either get started with land or to make your land more efficient, right? And I think there's even a tool here, and I haven't even used this, but import by plot ID. So if I click on this, you could probably type in your plot ID, pull it in, and it'll pull in all the necessary data. And then you can start tweaking things from there to make it even better, right? So shout out once again to the creators of the site. I think it's fantastic, and like I said, as I'm starting to mess around with land a lot more, I'm just glad stuff like this exists. So that's all I got for you in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.